Oh, well, I think the first thing is the credit bureau market in the UK is fantastic. It's probably the most advanced in the world. But all the three credit bureaus operate very similarly in that they all rely on performance data from all the lenders, utility companies, telcos to produce a service that they sell back to financial services to help make decisions about consumers. Now, the downside to that is that if you don't have very much credit history, or you're new to the UK, or you're young, you don't have any history for a lender to be able to make a decision of. So that causes a bit of a problem because there's 5.8 million people that are classed as financially invisible in the UK. So for those 5.8 million that are financially invisible, it makes it really difficult for them to get credit either that's affordable, so they tend to be forced into buying higher APR type credit so they can start to build up credit history. They have to go through a process that's got a lot of friction, so the customer experience isn't great because they have to go through manual underwriting, and that's not great for a lender either. So that's one of their problems, I would suggest, even though what they do on the whole for most of the market is really good. The key thing for the consumer is not being able to get fair access to credit. So because they haven't got the data, that makes it really difficult. They're not getting the affordable products, and it actually drives an element of financial exclusion. For a lender, the lender's not able to accurately assess that individual. So either their manual underwriting costs, their operational costs are going to increase, and they're not accepting as many customers as they should do because within that cohort of those financially invisible, there will be a lot of really good risks. And in fact, Experian estimates that there's 2.5 million people that are marginally declined every year, and only 12% of those actually went on to default. Aire is also a credit reference agency, number 4 in the UK. We're authorised and regulated by the FCA, similarly to Experian, Equifax and TransUnion. But unlike the big three, we don't rely on historical data, so that's 6 years of performance data that consumers provide. What we do is we rely on something called first-party data, and we leverage machine learning and artificial intelligence based on first-party data, which is data given us by the consumer at the point in time that's required across that business process, whether it be for acquisition, when someone's looking at the credit risk profile of an individual, or affordability, or customer management for credit limit increases, or maybe within the collection cycle as well, when a lender's trying to understand more about an individual's affordability. And we return a new score back to the lender. So at acquisition, for example, when a lender is marginally declining someone, maybe it's for a £50 pair of shoes on credit, because they just don't have enough information and it's too costly to manual underwrite. The lender can send them to us. We ask a few more questions, it only takes a few minutes. We have a very high completion rate. With M Brown, for example, it's an 82% completion rate, and we're able to automate a new decision back to the lender. It goes through into their decision engine, and they can make that new decision. And that's helped them increase their accept rate on that cohort by 9.3%, which is fantastic. Well, the coming year is going to be very exciting for us because we're going from startup now into real growth mode. We have customers live, which is great. And into next year, we'll have a whole load more proof of concepts, evaluations. So we're really hoping to start driving our pipeline and our customer growth into 2020. And we've expanded into the US. So 2020 will be much more about establishing ourselves in the US, whereas we're going to 21. That's when the growth will start to kick in the US.